Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
If you go to a hustle game, you're going to see a very fast-paced game. A lot of action, both offensively, defensively.
Nice rejection right there.
In a great environment at the Lander Center. You could bring family there, kids are running around.
Down the lane and one for Zion Poland.
And then you're going to see a lot of talented basketball players competing at a high level.
At the National Civil Rights Museum, history moves us forward. The question remains, how does history move you?
Keep on walking, keep on talking, marching up to freedom now.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Memphis. FedEx Forum, Saturday, August 30th. With special guests, Bush and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit shinedown.com.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right. I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish, speaking to you from Lubbock, Texas, of all places. Bennett Doyle back in Memphis producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. You're getting through the day best you can. And I sure hope you didn't think the Grizzlies were going to hit the All-Star break on a winning note, because that did not happen. Shorthanded last night once again. Lost by 14 to the Clippers in Inglewood. That's the bad. The good, still second place, alone in second in the West as we wake up on February 13th, one day before Valentine's Day, heading into the All-Star break. So big picture still fine, but last night was frustrating. Couldn't stop giving the ball away, and then once you gave the ball away, you couldn't stop them from scoring. That's a terrible combination. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. It's Thursday, I think. I'm losing track of days, but I think it's Thursday. And here's what I know. On Thursdays, we are typically joined by Grind City Media's Mike Wallace, but he was with the team last night in Los Angeles, and they are either in the process of flying home right now or actually flying home right now. I'm not real sure. I don't have a flight tracker on him, but Mike Wallace is unavailable, so we'll catch up with him next week. That means when I finish this open, we're going to take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, if you're wondering why I'm in Lubbock right now, it's because I was on the sideline last night, CBS Sports Network, for a Big 12 clash between Texas Tech and Arizona State. Crazy game, fun game. With the double overtime, we'll spend some time on that experience. We'll do it in about 40 minutes. Penny Hardaway's Tigers going to return to the court tonight. They're down in Tampa at USF. Comes on the same day. My buddy Jeff Borzello, ESPN.com, dropped a nice column on Penny Hardaway, ESPN.com. If you haven't read it yet, go check it out. We'll talk about Tiger basketball. We'll do that a little later on in the show. Barstool Sports Dave Portnoy has announced that John Rocker and Patrick Mahomes will box under the Barstool umbrella in April in West Virginia. Obviously, weird headline, but it's apparently real, and we'll talk about it in just a bit. Astros icon Alex Bregman has signed with the Boston Red Sox. AL East trying to load up. What does this mean for Bennett's Baltimore Orioles? I'll ask you. We'll talk about it in the next segment. And Eagle star Saquon Barkley ripped fans, likely lots of Philadelphia fans, for booing Taylor Swift during the Super Bowl. I'll give you the quote. We'll do it during a segment. We call 5 more things you need to know. Then I'll eventually do GP's carry out, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to start with your Memphis Grizzlies because Game 54 of a scheduled 82 was played last night in the greater Los Angeles area. Grizz Clippers, Intuit Dome, Inglewood, California. No John Morant, but there was a Kawhi Leonard and a James Harden and a Norman Powell, and that's among the reasons the Grizzlies closed as 6.5-point underdogs before losing by 14. Final score, Clippers 128, Grizzlies 114. The Clippers shot 50.5% from the field, led by as many as 24 points, and scored 41 points off of 22 Grizzlies turnovers. These dudes scored 1.86 points per possession off of Grizzlies turnovers. Incredible. And by incredible, I mean, if you were watching it, incredibly frustrating. Those 41 points off turnovers, bad record for the Grizzlies. They had never allowed an opponent in the history of the franchise to get more than 40 points off turnovers in a game before, but they did it last night. So the Grizz are now averaging 16.6 turnovers per game. That ranks 29th out of 30 teams in the NBA. We keep talking about this. Taylor Jenkins keeps talking about this. We keep saying it's got to get better. He keeps saying it's got to get better. But it just doesn't really get better. And now here we are again. Big Bet Bennett, you know how we do things around here. On a scale of 1 to 7, how concerned are you about these turnover issues as we head into the All-Star break and get ready for, the last part of this 2024-25 regular season?
I'm about a 4.5. About a 4.5 level of concern. It's obviously been a thing all season. Eric says this on the radio broadcast a lot. I said it to Lane yesterday. Because they play the fastest pace in the league, they're going to turn the ball over a lot. But like you said, last night, the points off turnovers, that was the most in franchise history, the most points off turnovers they've given up. So, yeah, it's a little concerning. And hopefully something they'll be able to shore up coming out of the All-Star break, specifically with the hope that Ja Morant's going to play a lot coming out of the All-Star break, because I think he's the guy you want handling the ball a lot on this team.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's some of that you could probably attribute to games that Ja didn't play in. So hopefully that changes once they come out of the All-Star break. But dude, last night, it's funny. I told myself, because I think realistic fans saw the writing on the wall last night a little bit. Like you knew Ja and Vince weren't going to play coming into it, and they had just played coming off the Phoenix game that they won, and the Clippers hadn't played since Saturday, and the All-Star break's right around the corner. And so I was
it's a setup for sure.
Yeah,
it's a schedule setup for sure.
Right. So I'm like, okay, this is a 9:30 tip off. I'm already tired from the night before, so I'm gonna sit here while I watch all the games, and no matter what, even in the bad years. And so I was like, you know what, this one tonight, I kind of see the writing on the wall. So I'm gonna let it breathe a little bit. I'm gonna see what happens in the first half of this game. And then they got up 11 points, and then it was only the Clippers come back, and it was only a 3-point game at halftime. And so I'm like, well, I guess I'm in this now. And obviously, it kind of went the way that I think most people thought it was gonna go.
I had my night all planned out. I had an 8 o'clock tip here in Lubbock. College basketball game, probably over about 10-ish. Let's say they slide the tip to 8:10. Let's say I don't get out of the arena till 10:30. But then I'm back at the hotel by 10:40, and I'm going to sit here and update the top 25 and 1 and prep for the GP show and watch the end of what is hopefully a competitive Grizzlies game. And by the time I got to this room, as you know, it went to double overtime, so I wasn't here at 10.
I felt for you.
But it was fun. It was fun. I mean, I'm walking around the arena. I'm doing my sideline reporting gig, and the fans are like, you're getting a real treat tonight. And I was like, of course, but I don't get paid overtime for this.
Right.
My salary's my salary. You don't get double time for going to overtime. But I would have done 3 overtimes, 5 overtimes. It was a fabulous night, but it did delay me getting back to the room. And by the time I got back to the room, it was like, all right, well, I know that tomorrow morning I'm going to be talking about a 36-18 team as opposed to a 37-17 team, and that's where we are. As for the turnovers, I think it's going to be an issue throughout.
It is.
It can get better, but it's not. You're not going to go from 29th to first. You're probably not going to go from 29th to average. Can you go from 29th to 21st? That would probably be. I'll take it, but we could talk 2 weeks from now, and I can keep hitting the button. Where are they in turnovers per game? And it's going to be in this range. It might not be 30th, it might not be 29th, but it's going to be in this range. So it's going to be an issue. It just is. That's obvious. I mean, you played 1 billion games already, and we've been talking about it for, it feels like months. And I know they emphasize it, but it is what it is. And last night was the worst of it. So I do think it's going to be an issue throughout. I don't think it's an issue that can prevent them from being really good and possibly going as far as the franchise has ever gone. And that's probably the smartest way, or at least the most optimistic way, to look at this. It is an issue, but is it an issue that will keep them out of the Western Conference Finals? I don't know. I mean, they turn the ball over like this, and they're still 36-18. They turn the ball over like this, and they still have the second best record in the West. They're still tied with the Knicks for the fourth best record in the entire NBA. Knicks are also 36-18. So the Grizzlies can still be, let's say, a top 4 team in the NBA, giving the ball away like this. You know how I know that? Because they are a top 4 team in the NBA, giving the ball away like this. Current net rating, 6.9. That ranks 4th in the NBA behind only Oklahoma City, Cleveland, and Boston. They're 5th in offensive efficiency, 7th in defensive efficiency, 4th in net rating. So I don't tell you all that to gloss over last night. Last night was frustrating. That shouldn't happen to a group of professional basketball players. Give the ball away 22 times and allow 41 points. 1.86 points per possession off of turnovers. That's insane. That shouldn't happen. But if you zoom out and look at the big picture and frame it the way, Bennett, you framed it, Clippers are rested. Clippers have Kawhi. You don't have Ja. You're on the road. Jaren's getting ready to catch a private flight to San Francisco in a bit. Like it was set up for it to be bad. But if you could zoom out of that, 36-18, still 4th in net rating in the NBA. If you want to enjoy All-Star Weekend, Valentine's Weekend, focus on that more than the turnovers and points off turnovers, because the big picture is still okay, even if last night's 40 minutes of basketball were, again, frustrating.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, I think like my big hope, because I was fine with them resting. Ja took a hard fall in the Phoenix game, and so I think that's just one of those. You're going to be up against it with that Clippers game anyway. So it's like, let's just be safe. Let's let him, rest that shoulder, and obviously just get healthy during All-Star break. Same with Vince. Vince probably wasn't going to play the second night of a back-to-back coming back from injury. But like, I think coming out of All-Star, my thing is, and I think most people would agree with this, it would be nice to see them get some, like a stretch of games where everybody's playing together. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's probably important as we, head down the home stretch, especially with Denver only a half game back of you now, trying to get that second seed.
It would be awesome if we had a long stretch of games where all the important players play together because they're all healthy. Peace in the Middle East would also be awesome. Like, these are two things that don't really happen. Like, they're good to talk about. We can dream about them. I'll keep my fingers crossed, but like, they don't really happen. I've said this before, and I agree with you. I think at this, maybe you didn't recognize what it was in the Phoenix game when it happened, but when you go back and look at it, like, Ja got caught up in a loose ball thing, weird type of thing. You see it. And if you're feeling anything, it's like, hey, it's one game before the All-Star break. Let's just, if I were in charge, I hate John Morant's name being on the status report. Hate it. Every time I see it, I go, God.
Yeah,
all right. But you ready? I would have put it on there yesterday.
Yeah.
Under out. And I would have handled this exactly the way they did. So I understand what happened and why it happened, but how many years we've been talking about we just want to see the healthy team?
Yeah, I mean, I want to, again, I think we're getting there. I know, but I think we're close. I mean, I think they're being careful going into All-Star. I mean, the hope is that they've been this careful this season, and now it's all starting to come together with everybody healthy, and that they can just string together a long stretch before the playoffs. I think that's the most important thing for this team, is these guys to all be able to play together a lot heading into the playoffs, so like what it's really going to look like, right?
Well, I think that's a proper way to put it. We can talk basketball stuff, turnovers. We can talk development stuff, trying to play 2 rookies in big roles as a Western Conference contender, the development of Zach Edey, all of this stuff. The truth is, the most important thing for the Grizzlies as it pertains to how far can you take this, it's not turnovers. It's not Zach Edey. It's not Jalen Wells. You know what it is? It's the health of Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, Vince Williams, and however else you want to rank out the rest of the roster. Show me a roster that has the most important players healthy for an extended period of time, and I'll show you a roster that I feel even silly suggesting can compete with Oklahoma City in the West, because they're just running away from everything and everybody. But could you play them in the Western Conference Finals and then let's see how it goes? Yeah, I could. This version of the Grizzlies, with turnover issues and multiple rookies playing big roles, is good enough to go to the Western Conference Finals, even as currently constructed, playing the way that they play, if healthy. They just got to get healthy. And I know I can keep harping on it. We keep saying this, and it never is. But just because something hasn't been the way we wished it would be doesn't mean that it can't be eventually. And doesn't mean that it can't be just as soon as we start playing games again right after the All-Star break. So I'll sign that with you. Hopefully we get there. Fingers crossed and knock on wood and all of those other things. But broadly speaking, 36-18 heading into the All-Star break with Ja Morant playing a limited number of games.
I'll take it.
Marcus Smart never even being a meaningful part of anything. Vince Williams barely playing. Keep in mind, in the preseason, when you talked about the Grizzlies, you talked about Ja Morant as your starting point guard and either Marcus Smart or Vince Williams on the wing. Well, Ja has missed a lot of games, and Marcus and Vince have meant nothing to this team this season in any sort of meaningful way. Now Marcus isn't here anymore, and Vince missed another game last night. So to be 36-18 with that context, like your starting point guard and the guy everybody assumed one or the other was going to be your starting wing, haven't really been a big part of anything this season. Ja more than the others, obviously, but has missed a lot of games. So to be 36-18, given all of that, it's a good place to be. So now we focus on All-Star Weekend. Scale of 1 to 7, Bennett. How excited are you for All-Star Weekend? Like, oh man, I can't wait. Let me give you a comparison. Last weekend, I was very excited headed into the weekend, right? I had been in New York all week, and then I was coming home, and I was like, man, on Friday night, it's SmackDown. So family's going to go to SmackDown, and that's going to be incredible. That'll be a fun night. And then on Saturday night, we can all settle in, grab food, and we'll watch college basketball, of course, but, Grizz and Thunder on a Saturday night. That's going to be awesome. And then Sunday, Super Bowl, Kendrick halftime performance. Like, whoo, this is going to be the best weekend ever. I was actually looking forward to just doing those things, sitting in front of a TV for 2 of those 3 days. How excited on a scale of 1 to 7, with 7 being that weekend I just described, are you for All-Star Weekend?
3.5.
Yeah.
3.57. I'm excited to see Jaren. I'm excited to see Zach Edey and Jalen Wells. I'm trying to think of what else I'm excited about. I think that's it.
I tried to get excited about the new format.
Yeah.
But I'm just not until I see it. And perhaps when I see it, I'll go, okay, this works. This is fun. I'm willing to be open-minded about it. But I was hoping, on the Thursday before All-Star Weekend, I'd be like, man, I cannot wait for this new format. This is going to be incredible. I'm fired up. And I'm just not. I don't even know how much of it I'll see, if I'm being honest with you.
I will see it. I will watch it. There's certain things, like, are they doing the celebrity game this year? Like that doesn't do anything for me. Again, I like everything that involves our guys. And I will watch like the main All-Star game. I do every year, but you're going to lose me quick if it goes kind of the way that it has gone. I want to, You sound like when you say things like this, you sound like such a stupid old fart. But I want to see them like out there competing for me to be invested in the All-Star game. It's just that simple.
I don't think that makes you old. I think a 17-year-old could say,
yeah,
I wish my favorite professional basketball players who are making millions to entertain America and the world, I wish when we put them on a court and turn the TV on that they would try.
Yes.
I don't think you got to be old to say that. You just got to be like, isn't that what everybody wants?
Yeah, I mean, like, dude, if the final score is like in the 200s, like, I'm just, if it's 201 to 202, like, I'm just not, I don't care about that. I don't. I love seeing, like, great offense as much as anybody. Like, we got one of the great offenses in the league. I love watching our team. But in that setting, when there's just literally no defense being played at all, like, come on.
It's weird because I promise you, if you talk to the players, they think we don't get it, right? Mm-hmm. They think Adam Silver doesn't get it and Charles Barkley doesn't get it, and everybody who encourages them to just, man, go play, go compete, go put on a show, they think we just don't understand, all right? And that's fine. But to quote Dot, we will turn the TV off.
Yeah.
We'll just we'll find some. Hey, there's an SNL big weekend coming up. Like Taylor Swift's performing on NBC. We'll turn that on. And it won't ever negatively impact LeBron James or Steph Curry or Kevin Durant or the people who have been the faces of this sport for a long time and who have been running things as All-Star Weekend has devolved into a joke. They're the faces of this league while All-Star Weekend has gone from something, you ready for this? All basketball fans looked forward to once upon a time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but there was a time in my life, All-Star Weekend, Michael Jordan's in the dunk contest, Larry Bird's shooting threes. Like, I was very young back then, but like, if I told you Steph Curry was in the three-point competition against other stars and John Morant was in the dunk contest against other stars and the All-Star game was going to be played and they were going to try to, it might not look like Game 7 of the NBA Finals, but it could look like Game 3 of the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs, like they're going to try, then we'd be having a totally different conversation than the one we're having right now. But they don't prioritize it. They do not care. And it will never negatively impact them, although it may be a part of their legacies. But what it is going to do is cost the next generation. Because television networks are eventually going to say, we're not paying for this. You keep telling us this costs all this millions and millions and millions of dollars. But once it's not fun to watch anymore, you know what people do? Turn the TV off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know what the ratings do? Go down. And the networks say, why are we paying for something that isn't worth anything anymore? And then you know what happens? Then revenue goes down and salaries go down, and now people are going, hold up. I remember when Anthony Edwards was on track to make $60 million a year. Well, one of your biggest in-season television properties was All-Star Weekend, and you guys ran it straight into the ground. So to put this in normal people terms, imagine you have a television show, a big one, Seinfeld back in the day, whatever it would be today. And then the characters just drive the show straight into the ground where people say, I don't even want to watch this show anymore. That's what's happened to All-Star Weekend. Mm-hmm. The characters, if you'll play along with the analogy, have run it straight into the ground. And now it's one of those things where you and I, basketball fans, aren't even sure how much we care about All-Star Weekend. That's a real problem.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
a real problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a lot of inventory for those TV networks too, right? Like you're talking about a 3-day event. I mean, with like MLB, you get the home run derby and the game, so you get two. With NFL, they do the one day of the Pro Bowl games. Like it's a lot, It's a big weekend, right?
I can tell you, once Turner and CBS started working together on the NCAA tournament, one of the, I shouldn't say frustrating, because this ain't my place to be talking about this, but I could just tell you, sometimes people I know who work on the CBS side are like, we can't even really start having impactful conversations with Turner about how we're doing what we're doing until they get through All-Star Weekend, because that's all they care about until All-Star Weekend's over. They are like, all right, I'll call you. I'll start. Hey, I'm dealing with All-Star Weekend right now. So it is a big deal to them. And then it happens, and it's disappointing. across the board. They invest a lot of time and millions of dollars, and then the characters in their television show, that's what it is. Let's call it something else. Forget All-Star Weekend. It's a 3-day television show filled with stars, but the stars don't want to act. So, no, imagine SNL 50-year celebration this weekend, right? It's a big concert, and I don't know what's going on, but I know it's a big deal. What if everybody just showed up and decided to do nothing? We turned the TV on, we're all watching, and they just decided to do nothing relative to what they're capable of doing. That's what they do. That's what the NBA All-Stars do. They go to the weekend and they don't prioritize it or care about it or make it matter the way it used to matter. And I don't think, you can be approaching 50 or approaching 20 and you can have the same opinion about that. So I'll keep an open mind, I guess. I'll turn it on, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not optimistic. And more than that, I'm not excited about it. We should be sitting here doing a whole show about how awesome All-Star Weekend's going to be. And instead, I think if you told me I could only watch one or the other, I might turn on the SNL weekend as opposed to the All-Star Weekend. Let's only one TV. You can only watch one thing. We're coming back on Monday and we're talking about it all. Would you rather have consumed the SNL weekend, whatever it includes, or All-Star Weekend, whatever it includes?
I'm going to say All-Star because we have an All-Star. I'll still say All-Star, but I might regret it.
Yeah, I would say SNL. I'd rather watch SNL. Because you know what? I know that Taylor Swift is going to take the stage. She was announced as a big performer on the SNL.
Oh, shit, I didn't know that. Damn, I might have to rethink things.
They've got Taylor Swift, all right?
Whoa.
Here's what I know. Taylor Swift is going to come out, and whatever she does, she's going to try hard. All right? I don't know what she's going to sing. I don't know what she's going to play, but she's going to try. I know that. She's going to give it her best shot. I don't think LeBron's going to give it his best shot. I don't think KD's going to give it his best shot. I don't think Steph's going to give it his best shot. And so I'd rather watch people. I'd rather watch uniquely talented people try than uniquely talented people not care. That's the real problem.
Yeah,
you're asking me. The NBA is asking us to care about something that they can't get their own players to care about.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Man, and they could change this. Like those three guys you just mentioned, I swear to God, if an hour before the game they huddled up with their teams and were like, "Yo, we're playing hard. We're playing defense today." That you'd probably get a more competitive game.
I wish they would.
I do too. Yeah, I think it's that simple.
And I think I would do it if I were them. It's always hard to talk about what you would do if you're LeBron James. I get that. But I think I would. I would say, hey, guys, this is one night, and we're playing short games, mini games. Let's go play. Let's make sure when Stephen A. Smith goes on TV tomorrow morning, he's not talking shit about us. All right? Not that we care about him specifically, but you get the point. Let's make sure when people are talking, whether it's Stephen A. Smith or Bennett Doyle, let's make sure when people are talking about this on Monday morning, they're not saying, I don't even know why we do this. Because that's what they say every Monday after the All-Star game for years. I don't even know why we do this. Let's make sure they don't say that tomorrow morning. I swear to God, if I were LeBron James, that is the message I would send.
Yeah.
I think, at least. I think that's what I would send. Will he send it? I don't know. But I wish he would. I wish he would. It'd be fun to turn it on and see, not actually, but the equivalent of LeBron James slapping the floor and saying, let's go.
Yeah,
let's play.
For sure.
The equivalent of that would be fun. Hey, you tell me we got the best basketball players in the world actually competing against each other, trying to kill each other? I'll watch that. I'll be there for that. But you ain't giving me that in so long that I'm not expecting it. And so if it happens, I'll probably have to watch the replays because I don't know that I'll be there for it in real time. You've burned me too. You've made me sit down in front of my TV and watch garbage too many times. I don't know that I'm willing to just do it again. But prove me wrong, and then I'll catch the replays and I'll talk glowingly about it on Monday, and then I'll believe that you learned a lesson, and I'll be there for All-Star Weekend 2026. Be back in a second.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled. And Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. And that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays, in the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in and they'll take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.com. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Wild night in Lubbock, Texas last night. Final score, Texas Tech 111, Arizona State 106. It was a double overtime game in the Big 12, and we wouldn't be talking about this, obviously, even though it was an incredible basketball game. But if you're wondering why I'm in Lubbock and without my background, my normal Grind City media background, it's because I was on the sideline last night for CBS Sports Network, and I left my background in New York and forgot that I was going to Lubbock in between trips to New York. So I'll have it next time, Bennett, but I don't have it right now. My apologies. Do you like my curtains in my hotel room?
I do, yeah. It looks very cozy.
But you should see there's a big difference between looking out your window in New York City and looking out your window in Lubbock, Texas.
What's it like in Lubbock? What's going on in Lubbock?
I could show you if I could take my computer over there, but I don't know if I can.
No, that's okay. I don't want you unplugging anything.
It was how about you know what? Lubbock, Texas is not New York City. I guess that goes without saying. I don't need to, neither is Memphis, Tennessee. I don't like it when people crap on other places. So I'm unwilling to do it myself. It's just that it's different than New York. When I opened my window, I was like, oh boy, this is a different view than I'm normally used to. But amazing trip, an amazing game. I got the email a few weeks ago. We are doing some Big 12 games on CBS and on CBS Sports Network this season. That's why I went to Big 12 Media Day back in the preseason. And my bosses were like, hey, would you be willing to go to Lubbock for Arizona State, Texas Tech, as opposed to be in studio in New York this week. Normally I'm in studio Tuesday, Wednesday. Basically, instead of going to New York, go to Lubbock. I said, okay, let's do it. And I had a blast. And it was just nice to be back in a basketball arena because I don't do this anymore that often.
That's right, man. You used to be everywhere.
When I got hired,
you used to be a man of the people.
I was a man of the people.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just sit in hotel rooms and talk to you. Now I'm a man of you. I'm a man of you.
Look at those sneakers. Okay, I see you. Dang.
Those are J's. No big deal. Just
very clean fit. Very clean.
Isn't it? Rocking J's. No big deal. I used to, when I got hired at CBS Sports in 2006, I was just a writer, believe it or not. That's all. I was hired as a columnist. And I don't know if this was true, but looking back on it, it feels true. I was like a columnist with an unlimited budget. I just went wherever I wanted to go. I would just send an email to my bosses and be like, hey, I think I'm going to UCLA for a few days. And they'd say, okay.
That's convenient.
And then I'd say, hey, I'm going to go to Ohio State for a couple of days. They'd be like, all right.
Great.
Have fun. And I went everywhere. And I don't do that anymore. I don't go, like I would go to Virginia Tech and spend 3 days with Buzz Williams. And then I'd go to Marquette and spend 4 days with Shaka Smart. And that's how I develop relationships with all these people. It's not from sitting in a hotel room or sitting in a studio. It's being in their arenas and being on their campuses and being in their offices. And so I had that reminder of that last night. Like, okay, I'm in a shoot around, and here's Grant McCaslin, who I've known forever because he was on Scott Drew's staff at Baylor. And here's Bobby Hurley, who I've known for a long time, and who the Bobby Hurley thing is interesting for me because he's like somebody I grew up watching. Like he's an all-time great college basketball player, like the all-time assist leader and like a real icon of the sport. And then as I got older in this career and our careers collided, like I've gotten to know Bobby over the years. And so I get to see him and spend time with him. And it was just nice to be back in that setting. I can't wait to get back to New York. And I love being in studio. I guess if I put my fist down and told my bosses, I don't want to do TV anymore, I just want to write, I guess they'd let me. I don't know. But I don't want to. I enjoy what I'm doing now. But because what I do now basically has me living in New York, for a few months a year, I don't get to go around to campuses like this and just see different places and experience different things. Like, I will be back in New York tomorrow. All right? I'm coming home today and I'm going back to New York tomorrow. This is such a stupid way to live. And there is nothing I will see in New York over the next week that I haven't seen before. Nothing. I will, I'll go to a new restaurant, but there's really nothing I'm going to see or experience that I haven't experienced a million times. But like yesterday in Lubbock, like I got to see new things and be around new people and meet new people. Mike O'Donnell, who was the color analyst on the game, former UCF point guard, played at UCF at the same time Derrick Rose and Chris Douglas Roberts were playing at Memphis. Mm-hmm. So you go back and watch that game, there's Mike right there. And he'll tell you he did a pretty good job on Derrick Rose, and I think the box score suggests that he did. So he tweeted just like, hey, we're all here in Lubbock, and tagged all of us on Twitter. And immediately people were like, go to Evie Mae's, go to Evie, a little barbecue joint. And I was like, hey, we got to eat lunch somewhere. Let's go do something. We can say we've been to that place. Everybody says you should go to that place. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit like if somebody says they're in Memphis and you name whatever your favorite barbecue spot is. I like them all, or at least lots of them. So I don't want to rank them. I like lots of different Memphis barbecue. But somebody says, hey, go to this place, go to this place, go to this place. You're like, all right, let's go try it. Well, that's what this place was. So we got to go there, and it was wonderful, and met the owner, and she was terrific. And I got a lot of little neat experiences yesterday that I don't get to do anymore. And then we got an amazing basketball game. JT Toppin finished with 41 points, 15 rebounds, multiple blocks, multiple steals, and goes down in history as the first Division I player to have that kind of box score, at least 40, at least 15, and multiple blocks and steals in the past 30 years. It was a wildly unusual individual performance for him. And then you get to, the crowd is wild and the whole thing. It was just fun to be at a college basketball. You ready for this? I cover college basketball. I write about it every day and talk about it every day. You know how many college basketball games I've been to this season?
One.
I think 4. Maybe 4.
Oh yeah, because you went to Annapolis too.
Yeah, so Veterans Classic, that's a doubleheader, and then maybe CBS Sports Classic.
Yep.
And last night, I've been to 4. I don't go to basketball games. Like I was talking to Grant McCaslin about this yesterday. He was like, "So, where were you at last?" There is no last. Where are you at next? I don't know. I'm just here. But it's good to be. It's nice to be here, to be in a basketball arena again. So, that was great. And then you can't help but, these are humans coaching these teams, and humans that I've known for a while. And one of them is having the best season of his career, and the other one's having one of the worst at one of the worst times. And I thought that was an interesting dynamic. Like if I had the time, I'd write a column about that. Here's these two men, and they were both in the same building, and they're both multimillionaires, and they're both they're going to be fine.
Yeah.
Their problems are not the same problems some people listening right now have. But it just still sort of, I couldn't, that contrast was interesting to me. I spent a few hours, around the Texas Tech program and around Grant McCaslin, and I mean, it's all good stuff. And, they're ranked in the top 15, and he's quite literally having the best season of his career. And then there's Bobby, who entered the season on the hot seat, and they started 9-2, and then it's injuries, suspensions. His star freshman's hurt now, and it just spiraled. And they were in a position a million times last night to win that game, and they could just not close it. And talking to Bobby during the day, he's like, it is what it is, But Kansas State just flipped their season, so maybe we can flip ours. And I know. I got it. I understand what we're up against. But, maybe tonight can be I'm talking to my team about that. Kansas State was bad, and now they're great. We still got time. And it's right there. They were 16.5-point underdogs last night, shorthanded, and they had it, and they could not close it. I'm capable of holding two thoughts in my head at the same time. I can be happy for Grant and just sick for Bobby. And it doesn't mean I'm rooting for any specific outcome, but I don't know I don't know what that's like I hope I never understand what that's like, but it's a weird thing college coaches go through. I guess all public figures who have jobs like that go through. Penny Hardaway has gone through, where you're doing your job the best you can, and it's not going well. And sure, some of it's on you, obviously, but some of it's not. Some of it's just bad luck. Some of it's just unfortunate circumstances. And then you're doing the best job you can, but everywhere you turn, people are saying you ought to be fired. And it's time to go. They need somebody new. I don't know. Bobby Hurley's got a nice life, I'm certain. I just bet it sucks right now.
Yeah.
And I couldn't, while I was experiencing this amazing game and writing about it afterwards, and I just couldn't get those thoughts out of my head. So, I don't know, just maybe remember that when you're watching coaches on the hot seat. That ain't a fun way to live. The direct deposits every 2 weeks are amazing, but it's not a fun way to live. So congrats to Texas Tech. My condolences to Arizona State and to the fine people of Lubbock. Man, it ain't easy to get here. I'll tell you that. This ain't the easiest place to get to. But once I've been here, I had a blast. It was fun just to experience all these things that I used to do all the time, but don't get to do it too much anymore. And while I'm just sort of rambling, I think this is textbook rambling. Thank you to you and Lang Whitaker, Kyra, for holding things down while I was out yesterday, because there was a part of me that was, I can do it. I'm always saying I can do it. And I just know that if I would have tried to do this yesterday and tried to do everything else I was going to do that was on my schedule, I would not have made it through the day. It would have been a really hard day. I had a production meeting at 9:45. It would have required all of us to get up and do this very early. And so with the invitation from you, and also on the Ion College Basketball podcast yesterday from Matt Norlander, they were just, both of you were like, just focus on what you're doing in Lubbock and leave everything else alone. And I was really appreciative of that, whether I illustrated it or not, because I needed that mental break. I was getting it's been like, again, relatively speaking, but these hours are long and these travels can wear on you, and I needed to breathe a little bit yesterday. So thank you guys seriously for allowing me to do what I was doing here yesterday. And I don't know when I'll come back to Lubbock, but I tell you, this trip was a blast, and if they ask me to come again, I'll be right back.
Number 2.
Tigers are back on the court tonight down at USF.
Yep.
And it comes on the same day that Jeff Borzello, ESPN.com, had a nice story. He came to Memphis in January, it appears, and had the Dateline Memphis, Tennessee, and wrote a whole bunch of words about Penny Hardaway and the job that he's doing this year, and the job that he's doing this year after, previous years not going so smoothly. Have you seen the article yet?
I haven't. I've got it bookmarked. I just saw it pop up on my feed.
Yeah, it's well done. I don't say this as a criticism of the story because Jeff did a great job with it. It's well done, but it is more for a national audience than it would be for you, because you're really not going to read anything in there that you haven't heard.
I got you. Yep.
Yeah, like the Penny quotes are the same type of quotes we've heard. The story is the same type of story. It's the stuff we've been talking about a lot, but that's a great sort of, hey, as Memphis is getting ready to play USF tonight on ESPN2, if you're wondering how things are going with the Tigers, well, let me tell you, and Penny Hardaway has gone from the hot seat to the top 15 of the AP poll. It's that kind of story. But, it's a big story at ESPN.com on the day of a Tigers game, and who knew when the season started if we were going to be in this position. So at South Florida, it's
it's a
not
revenge
a game. It's not the type of game that if you win it, anybody's going to say, "Ooh, great win." It's a quadrant 3 game on the road against a team ranked 195th in the net.
Mm-hmm. To which you've already gotten a quadrant 3 game added on with that because Temple lost to Tulsa yesterday, so that's
Memphis
tough.
Memphis has 2 quad 3 losses right now.
Yeah,
and this would be a third, and that's why every time I talk about these things, I try to flip it around. We think of big games like it's a game against nationally ranked Auburn, or nationally ranked Michigan State, or nationally ranked Ole Miss or Mississippi State or whatever. Those are big games because they're big opportunities. And those are the ones most people are paying attention to. If Memphis were playing Auburn tonight, the audience would be different than Memphis playing South Florida.
Right.
But I can genuinely argue at this point in the season that the game against South Florida is just as big as any game you could play against any ranked team, because this loss will hurt you just as much, if not more, than any good win would help you. And the problem in this league is you don't even get chances anymore to get good wins.
Right.
You just it's nothing but, unless you want to say at UAB on March 2nd is a quadrant 2 opportunity and you could add a quadrant 2 win. But that's something, but it ain't much.
No.
So these games are big, and you've got to avoid these losses, and that's why they got to go down there and play.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I can't tell yet if they're going to have Tyrese Hunter or not. The spread's only 7.5, which kind of suggests to me that maybe they won't have him tonight as he's coming back from injury. So that's one of your main players that you might not have tonight on the road. So yeah, I'm with you.
And you'll be down there, and there will not be a crowd, and there's going to be no energy in the building, probably, and you're supposed to win the game. Just these are big, and I hope that I trust that staff is emphasizing that to that roster. Okay, we can go down here, win by 8, win by 15, win by 3. Nobody's even going to blink. Most people won't even notice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you know what they will notice? If we lose. They'll notice if we lose. They won't care if we win, but they'll notice when we lose. We just got back into the top 15 of the AP poll for the first time in 16 years this late in the season. Lose tonight and you give it all back. Lose tonight and you start going the other direction. Lose tonight and that's 3 quadrant 3 losses, and people start questioning how reliable you really are. People start wondering if, hey, okay, yeah, they had some nice wins, but what is this? These 3 quadrant 3 losses? Go try to find how many teams in the AP poll got 3 quadrant 3 losses.
Right.
It ain't there. So big game, 8:00 tip, ESPN2, Memphis at USF.
Number 3.
Patrick Mahomes and Senior and John Rocker are going to box in West Virginia in April under the Barstool umbrella. This comes after there was this confrontation in New Orleans during Super Bowl weekend where it looked like the two former baseball players were about to fight. And I think people were wondering, is it staged or not? And I don't know. But very quickly after that happened, Barstool, Dave Portnoy announces that they're going to fight at, I guess it's called Rough and Rowdy. Have you ever bought a Rough and Rowdy?
I have not bought a Rough and Rowdy. I've seen the highlights. Hey, I'll tell you what. I'll buy this one. if this really happens, I'll buy it.
Will you?
It could be fun.
I won't. I can't. I can't get involved with stuff like that.
I don't know how much it costs. If it's like $25, I'll buy it.
I don't understand how this happens. If you were Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback, not the former baseball player, would you allow this to happen?
Well,
I guess you're not in control. I guess here's what I would say if I were Patrick Mahomes. You tell me where I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
If my dad, my drunk dad, who's always in the, we were talking a few weeks ago, like you don't really know, maybe last week, you don't really know professional athletes' fathers too often, right? But you do know Patrick Mahomes' father, and not just because he was a famous baseball player. It's because he also got a DUI, and now he's almost fighting in, New Orleans, and now he's going to go box John Rocker. And I just think, I'd like to think if I were Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback, worth hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd pull my dad aside and say, you're embarrassing me. And if this is what you want to do, I guess I can't stop you. But why are you doing this? Is it money? Do you need money this bad? Like, what do you need? How about I give you $10 million and you don't go embarrass our family by fighting a clown while looking like a clown? I would be embarrassed if I were Patrick Mahomes, the quarterback, if my dad were doing this.
So I saw that he is trying to put a stop to it. Patrick Mahomes, apparently, like
it's just embarrassing. Who wants to watch their old dad fight? Think about that. Who wants to watch their old dad fight? Like, it's like when I see this sometimes. It's like dads squaring off, like they're ready to fight. Sometimes they do, and I'm like, your kids are right there. Like your kids will remember this forever. And you're about to fist fight, and you might get knocked out. Like it's just a weird thing.
So I'll be shocked if it happens. John Rocker is like fired up. Like he won't stop talking about it on Twitter. I would be surprised if it happens. I think that Patrick Mahomes Jr., his people will get through and make sure that this doesn't happen.
I'm just fascinated by how you even get to this point. Like, how does this?
I don't know. I mean, because you saw the video of them on Bourbon Street. It didn't look fake to me or staged to me. It looked like those guys don't like each other. And I think there might be history from when they played against each other.
It looked embarrassing, and if those were my friends, I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed for them and by them. And I'd just be like, yo, man, we're all old men.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when I see old men about to fight, when I see two people who look like me about to fight, I never think that's impressive. I go, what is wrong with you?
Plus, the other thing is, like, the way that this definitely affects Patrick Mahomes is, first off, Rocker is jacked. I mean, that dude is juiced, bro. He's huge. So, like, I think I'd probably pick him over Patrick Mahomes Sr. And the thing is, think about it. I can see it right now. If John Rocker knocks out Patrick Mahomes Sr. in that ring, it is going to be the meme that follows Patrick Mahomes Jr. the rest of his career. Like, anytime the Chiefs lose a game, something happens to Mahomes, he takes a big sack or anything, it's going to be flooded with the memes of his dad getting knocked out at the Rough and Rowdy event. Like, it's just,
yeah, that would be something I would try to make clear to my father. But the main thing I'd try to make clear to my father is that you're an old man who I love, and you're getting in a boxing ring to fight somebody who's
crazy person.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Yeah, let's not.
Is it?
I'll watch it though.
You really want to fight this guy? I'd rather you just do it in an alley then. as opposed to a boxing ring under the barstool thing.
Yeah.
If you really just think you got to fight John Rocker for whatever stupid reason exists, do it in my backyard. But let's not do it on television or streaming or whatever they're going to do. And so if it's not about that, then I'm assuming if you don't feel like you just got to fight John Rocker for whatever reason, then I'm assuming you're doing it for money.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you heard, but I got all the money in the world. So, like, just, how much are they paying you? I'll give you twice.
Yeah.
Let's be done with this. And beyond that, like, the Mahomes name does matter. That's a brand. The Jordan brand is a brand.
Yeah.
The Mahomes brand is a brand. And you're messing it up. You're getting it goofy. Right now, when people just type Mahomes into their, and this is where I would land as well. When people type Mahomes into the Google, I'm the only thing that should pop up. Me and all my Super Bowl rings. Not you. But right now, you type Mahomes into Google, you pop up because you want to fight John Rocker. What are we doing? I just think it's weird. The whole thing is just weird. So, I don't know. If it happens, if people want to buy it, knock yourself out.
I'm in.
I find that's not even something I would find enjoyable. No matter what happened, I would find it sad. No matter what happened, I would look at that and I'd go, it's sad that ever happened.
Yeah.
Two people who look like me should not be getting into a boxing ring, right?
Mm-hmm. I guess so.
Bennett, you're a little fired. You're more fired up.
I've always been curious because, like I said, I've seen the clips of that thing, and like I've never been inclined to buy it. But this might make me purchase it. I'd be interested. I'd check it out.
Well, if you purchase it and it happens, I'll put it in 5 more things the day after. And I'll say, hey, Bennett, so how was that? And then I'll just let you talk about it. And then I'll say it was sad.
Good.
And then we'll move on to the next one.
Good. Sounds good.
That's what will happen.
I like it.
Number 4.
Alex Bregman is a Red Sox. He's a Sox.
Yeah.
3 years, $120 million. The Astros legend is going to Fenway Park. Bennett, how you feeling?
Not great.
Do you realize the Orioles still had the second best odds to win the American League pennant?
Yeah, I mean they're banking on their young guys. The only big signing they have is Charlie Morton, who's still playing Major League Baseball. And they lost Anthony Santander, but they've got a lot of good young players. I mean, I think they're still going to be good, but like the rest of the division is clearly making big moves, and you're kind of just standing pat. So I'd be lying if I didn't sit here and say that I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm pretty nervous about it.
You just don't like it because I used to go through this as a Mets fan when they were owned by people who didn't realize that you were running a baseball franchise in New York City, so you have tons of money and you can spend it.
Yeah.
It would just get frustrating. You'd watch these teams that they throw money around and invest in stars and pay to keep and it was just like, why can't my team do that more than it does that? And so that's what you're dealing with right now. Even though things are good, it's like, but why couldn't we get in the Alex Bregman sweepstakes?
Right.
Like, if Alex Bregman was willing to leave Houston, why couldn't we get involved in that? That's the type of thing. But you're still big picture, because I went and double checked this morning just to make. Yeah, the Yankees are the favorites to win the American League. Of course. And obviously, the Dodgers are the favorites to win the National League. But the Orioles are second in the AL, behind the Yankees only. Red Sox still a little deeper down the list. So, Alex Bregman, it moved the needle for the Red Sox, but it didn't impact the Orioles in any sort of negative way in the betting markets, at least. Orioles still second best odds to win the American League pennant and, by extension, represent the AL in the 2025 World Series.
Number 5.
Saquon Barkley has come to defense of Taylor Swift after she was booed at the Super Bowl. Did you see what Saquon Barkley said?
I did see what he said.
He said he didn't understand why they're booing Taylor Swift. He was on, I believe, Howard Stern yesterday morning. He said she's there supporting her significant other, and she's made the game bigger. In football, we're all about how we can expand the game and make it more internationally, and we're traveling to Brazil, and we're traveling to Mexico, and apparently we're traveling to Australia soon. So we're trying to expand the game, and her being a part of it is only helping that, so I don't get the slack that she's getting. Isn't that nice?
That was nice. Here's what I'll say. In that moment, when she got booed in the video of her being like, what is going on? It's the Super Bowl. It's the Chiefs versus the Eagles, and there's a bunch of Eagles fans there, and she's like connected to the Chiefs. So I just, as like a wrestling fan, dude, I had no problem with that at all. It's funny. Like Taylor Swift is the Chiefs fan in the crowd, right? And she's the big famous star, and so they put her on the Jumbotron, and all the Eagles fans boo. Like, whatever.
Okay, that's fine, and I think that's probably mostly right. Although I don't think she got booed strictly because she's dating a Chief and there were lots of Eagles fans. It's more than that. That might be the biggest reason or among the biggest reasons, but it's more than that. But if somebody were to say they threw Brittany Mahomes up there, she would have gotten booed too, right?
Probably so, yes.
Well, let's stop. I don't know. Would Brittany Mahomes have gotten booed?
Yes,
Okay.
definitely. Because that was a very pro-Eagles crowd.
It certainly sounded like it.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that's the only reason Taylor Swift has been booed. And it's not just she got booed at the game. There's real Taylor Swift vitriol out there among a certain segment of the United States population. I'm just telling you when it flipped, when she publicly endorsed Kamala Harris. Suddenly you just, let me go on Facebook and see what people are expressing themselves about today. And it was like a lot of anti-Taylor Swift stuff. And so I guess if I were sitting down with somebody, not somebody who booed her while wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey because she's dating the Chiefs tight end. Like if you just are going to insist, that's the only reason I booed because she's the enemy in this football game, fine, whatever. But I'm talking about the other people. The people who post on Facebook about her, negative stuff, and Instagram about her, negative stuff. If I had one of those people, I would just say, what is it? What, why do you hate Taylor Swift so much? What is it about her that really makes you? What would be the answer? You tell me. What is there to really hate about Taylor Swift?
I can't think of anything.
I mean, I really don't know.
I was trying to find an answer for you. I can't think of anything.
She seems to treat people incredibly well, including everybody who works with her and around her and under her. She's giving away millions of dollars to people who worked on her tour. There's videos going viral of her just handing out cash at the Grammys to servers and other people working the event. Whether you like her music or not, it's the biggest music that exists. You know, she just did the biggest tour that's ever been done in the history of the world. And like, what is the worst thing she's ever done? I know some people get a little turned off by her writing songs about her exes.
Oh, whatever. I mean,
yeah, but like, what is he? There are people out there who will say, quite seriously, I hate Taylor Swift, and I can't for the life of me figure out why that would be a real thing. What is this? Like, there's a lot of terrible people in the world. I just don't know why you think Taylor Swift is one of them. What has she done to deserve this? And you know what's hilarious? I don't know if it's most, but a lot. A lot of the people who will tell you she's a terrible person will actually then turn around and tell you somebody who is actually a terrible person is like God. And they might put a flag on their front porch in support. It's kind of a weird deal. I don't know how we got to this point. How do you hate Taylor? What is it? How about this? If you spend your life on Facebook posting anti-Taylor Swift stuff, that says way more about you than it does Taylor Swift. You see those people? Do you know those people in real life?
No.
You ever look at?
No, I don't know. I do not know them in real life. No.
I mean, I don't associate with them in real life, but I have somehow ended up Facebook friends with them, and I'll click on Facebook and I see it. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, do you not have anything else to do except bitch about Taylor Swift on Facebook today?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. I think we're just at a point now, like, big stars are going to always have a segment that hates them, regardless of like what their political affiliation is or whatever. I think big stars are
but that changed it. Like, my wife owns a children's store. She sells Taylor Swift stuff because, like, she's the most popular woman in the world. Yeah. And like, she would have weirdos come in and be offended by that. Like, weirdos.
That is weird.
Asking her, why do you have all this Taylor Swift stuff? And my wife would say, because she's the most popular woman in the world. She's the most popular woman in the world. What are you mad about? I don't know, the whole thing, and just weird. And it sounds like Saquon Barkley also thinks it's weird because there he is, an Eagle, perhaps the most important, and he's like, yeah, I heard it, and I don't understand it. What is wrong? What did she do to deserve that? What did she do to deserve any of this? Like, the idea that, I don't know. I just find the whole thing, it's just interesting. I don't understand how people get to that point in life. Like, how you just hate somebody, and when somebody actually says, but why, you don't have a good reason. You might have a reason conjured up in your head, but I promise you, to any reasonable person, it's not a great one.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley sounds like a reasonable person.
He sounds pretty reasonable. I think that's fair. I mean, dude, on the flip side though, like, you know, there's like, I don't think I'd necessarily agree. I don't know.
What?
I was trying to think of a comparison. Like I'll, you know, I don't necessarily agree with everything like Ted Nugent says, but I like his music. Like I'm not going to judge anybody. I think that I don't know.
There are people who say, I hate Taylor Swift. I can't stand that woman. And I don't understand why anybody would hold that opinion. That's what I'm trying to tell you. What has she done to make somebody actually hate her? Like, say it. Put it in words. Type it out for me. Taylor Swift did this thing, and that's why I hate her. Hate her. Hate. It's real hate. People think they hate her. You probably know somebody in your life who will tell you, no, I don't hate Taylor Swift's music. I hate her. I hate that woman. She's bad.
Yeah, I don't get that.
And you would say why, and they can't give you a good answer. Because there's not one that exists. That's the part I promise you I don't care as much as it sounds like I care, but I just don't understand it.
No, it was making the rounds. I saw, it's a Super Bowl champion Saquon Barkley talking about it.
I'm just confused by it. I don't associate with these people in real life. Like, if I think you hold that opinion, you're not somebody I really want to be around because it doesn't make sense to me. But I do see it. Now, if I ever happen to just be locked in a room with somebody like that, I'd be like, all right, make it make sense to me. Tell it to me from your perspective. And you know who they would sound like when they started trying to do it? Nico Harrison trying to explain why he traded Luka Doncic.
Oh, come on. Why is he catching strays again?
Because it's exactly the same thing in this sense. It might make sense in your head, but now I want you to say it out loud. You got it all in your head why you had to trade Luka Doncic. All right? You're convinced this is a real thing. Now say it out loud. See if you can make me understand it. Nope. The Taylor Swift hatred is it's different, but it's similar. You got it in your head that you hate Taylor Swift and she's a terrible person. For what reason? Say it out loud. Make me understand it. You can't do it. That's the problem. If you can't say it out loud and make it make sense to a reasonable person, you're probably being unreasonable. And that's what Saquon Barkley picked up on. I think he was right. Be back in a second.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Can't wait. It's time to get it popping. It's going to be crazy. The fans are going to be loud. We need just energy.
We're going to need, the Forum rocking. We're going to need, everybody in Memphis to be out there to come to support.
When the fans are good, we're good. Simple as that.
A Bane 3, yes sir! Desmond Bane with ice water in his veins.
We'll ride the energy together.
Memphis Cat is back with his Heaven on Earth tour.
I tried to be incognito, but thanks to Shannon Sharp's loud mouth, the gig is up.
February 22nd in the FedEx Forum.
In my spare time, I infiltrate the Illuminati. Look for their secrets. Run back. Tell y'all.
Don't miss this year's most talked about comedy icon live. He's back with brand new material, an unmatched wit, and an electrifying performance. Get tickets at Ticketmaster.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering, to those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. I'm in Lubbock, Texas. A little while longer. Bennett Doyle back inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. This is perfect, Bennett. I checked the chat. Remember I was saying just now, hey, if you hate Taylor Swift, say it out loud. Help me understand it. Because I don't understand it, but if you say, so somebody in the chat decided to try to help me understand it. Did you see this? Did you look at the chat?
No, what happened?
Okay, and by the way, I don't ever mean to pick on people in the chat because I'm very appreciative of you being here, right? Like you could be doing anything right now. And there's probably better things to do if we're being honest. But you're here, and so I appreciate that. But if I'm also being honest, some of you are, whew. Anyway, Randy, there's a fellow named Randy. He decided to tell me why he hates Taylor Swift, right? He did it right there in the chat, just like I asked. So I appreciate him accommodating me. I said, hey, if you say it out loud, he couldn't say it out loud, but he could type it, so he typed it. And he said, hey, it's nothing to do with politics at all. Okay, then what is it, Randy? You know what Randy said? She's shown too much on NFL broadcast. That's why Randy hates Taylor Swift. That's why Randy decided he hates Taylor Swift, because she's shown too much on NFL broadcast. How long is a typical NFL broadcast, Bennett? You watch the NFL Sunday. How long?
Probably like over 3 hours. Let's just say three hours.
In the games that Taylor Swift attends, typically Chiefs games at Arrowhead, do you know how often she is shown on television during these more than 3-hour games?
How often?
You tell me. What's your guess?
Well, that was the only time I can remember seeing her on the Super Bowl was when she got booed.
No, okay. She's been on camera on average at games less than 25 seconds. Less than 25 seconds. So if you, and Randy's now saying he doesn't hate Taylor Swift, I'll take him at his word. But somebody out there, that's a real opinion. That's at least what Randy suggested was the opinion. Well, people hate her because she's shown too much on NFL games. It's less than 25 seconds. Imagine thinking you hate somebody because they're shown on television for because they're the most popular person in the world and shown on television for less than 25 seconds. Like, does that make any sense to anybody? I'm asking you, Bennett.
It doesn't make sense to me.
That's what I'm saying. You get somebody in a room and you say, okay, tell me. Because somebody would say that. I just can't deal with their standard on the NFL. It's less than 25 seconds of a 3+ hour television show. It's less than 25 seconds. If you have formed a negative opinion about a person because they're shown on television in a football game for less than 25 seconds, you're the people I'm talking about. Let's do GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but we mostly focused on your Memphis Grizzlies. Tough night last night in Inglewood, California. They played the Clippers. 6.5-point underdogs with no John Morant, no Vince Williams. Fell behind by 20+, lost the game by 14. 22 turnovers, 41 points off of turnovers. That's a Grizzlies franchise record and not a good one. Not a good one, because it was the Clippers getting the 41 points off of the 22 turnovers. In all the years the Grizzlies have been playing professional basketball, they had never allowed a team before last night to get 41 points off of turnovers. But we watched it go down over a span of 48 basketball minutes. That's the bad. Can we focus on the good? 36-18. Second best record in the West. Tied for the fourth best record in the NBA with the New York Knicks. This despite Marcus Smart making no impact whatsoever before he was moved to Washington. Vince Williams barely playing at all this season. One of them was supposed to be your starting wing coming into this thing. And John Morant's obviously been limited for a variety of reasons. So, 36-18. Heading into the All-Star break. You don't like to limp in the way they limped in last night, but we understand the big picture. And hopefully now all the Grizzlies who are going to San Francisco will have a productive weekend, a healthy weekend. We'll come back after it's all over, restart this NBA regular season healthy. And like Bennett said earlier, hopefully we can get a long stretch of games where the most important players are healthy together, playing together. And if so, it'll be a fun way to roll into the play.
What's today's biggest game?
The Tigers, USF.
Okay.
Down in Tampa, Florida. Memphis 20-4, 10-1 in the American. The Bulls 12-12, is 5-6 in the American. Memphis favored by 7.5 points tonight. Totals 151.5. Big bet, Bennett. How you going to act?
They never cover. They never cover.
And that's how, like, they never cover is how they end up with these bad computer numbers.
I know.
14th in the AP poll, but 43rd at KenPom. Memphis got all the way up to 27th at KenPom. Here's the other thing about this Memphis season.
Yeah.
Have literally never been in the top 25 at KenPom at any point in this season. Not one. Not one. So remember when some Memphis fans and I believe also the Memphis coach were complaining, like, I can't believe we got dropped. There has never been a moment in this season where Memphis was in the top 25 at KenPom.
Yep.
And it's so the record is great, both overall and in the league, but the computer numbers are struggling, and it is because it's not exactly because they don't cover, but when you're not winning games at the margins you're expected to, that's going to usually hurt you in the computers, and now here we are. So I don't want to contradict myself. I said a few weeks ago, as long as they just keep winning, I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to nitpick them winning games against bad teams. But this is the type of thing that can affect your seed, that can impact your path to a Sweet 16, to an Elite 8, to a Final Four. In that story Jeff Borzello published this morning, ESPN.com, one of the points Borzello makes is, like, Penny talks about getting to the Sweet 16 like it is, like that's a real goal. Like that's I don't want to say it's the finish line, because just as soon as you get to the Sweet 16, you want to go to the Elite 8, right? Just the moment that happens, you're like, all right, let's go to the Elite 8 then.
Right.
But Penny seems to, according to Borzello, set that as like a pass-fail line on some level. Like, I need to get to a Sweet 16. I need to be able to say I've coached in a Sweet 16, and I need to do it with this team. I need to do it right now. And if you keep winning while struggling, computer numbers go down, this is the type of thing that could impact your seed and the type of thing that could impact your path. So I promise you, as long as they beat South Florida, you're not going to see any negative stuff from me, tweets or otherwise. But it would be nice to go down there and not just beat them by 7.5, 4. Go jump on them by 15 at the half and win it by 22. And let's go from 43rd at KenPom into the top 40. Let's improve our net number. All of that stuff. So if you're a Memphis fan, look for a win first and foremost, but preferably an efficient win with big margin, blowout.
Yeah.
That would be the way to do this.
They keep it pretty close at home, USF. I actually think that line, the 7.5, is kind of factoring in that, like, they're catching on that Memphis doesn't cover in any of these games. I'm going to go Tigers. This team they're playing is not good at all. They're 500 in the AA. They're 12-12. I didn't mean to say that like they're saying about other leagues that's making the rounds. No, they're 500. Like, they're 12-12. They're not a good team, and they play in the AAC. Like, come on.
And like.
And I know
bad.
they've been through a lot. Like that team, that obviously they've been through a lot.
They lost their coach in the preseason, and not in the way you lose a coach. Usually, you hear somebody say, "Oh, they lost their coach." It's because he went to another school.
Right.
Their coach died.
Yeah.
Ugh. And the whole season, that's where they started. Our coach died, and so they're not good. I'm not even sure they would have been good. I don't focus on now. They're not good now. Ken Pom does have Memphis projected to win by 10. The number is only 7.5. So, that could be injury related. Could be these guys never cover related. As always, we'll see. But Ken Pom does have them projected to win the game by double digits. So, hopefully for you, Bennett, they do because so that's going to make you a winner.
Give me the Tigers.
What are we watching on TV?
Let's just watch Tiger basketball. 8 o'clock on ESPN2. Memphis at South Florida. Comes on the heels of a big ESPN.com column about Penny Hardaway. So let's turn on our TVs at 8 o'clock ESPN2. Hope for a Memphis victory on the road.
What's the best thing we've read?
Jeff Borzello had the piece on Penny Hardaway at ESPN.com if you haven't seen it yet. So you can find it. It's on the homepage. It's a long read. Like I said, I don't mean this. I love Jeff Borzello. Like, seriously. He's not only my former colleague and somebody who works in the same industry, but he's like a friend of mine. And I don't say that about everybody. Not everybody that works in my industry is a friend of mine. I don't like them all, but I do like Borzello. I'm not trying to nitpick the story. As a Memphis fan, it's like big picture stuff. You've heard these quotes before. I don't know that it's gonna sound and read very familiar, but it serves a purpose for a national audience who, frankly, probably doesn't pay a lot of attention to the AAC once the SEC and the Big Ten are going full speed. So this is like a catch-up for the nation.
Yep.
If you're wondering how Penny Hardaway's doing at Memphis right now, actually pretty good. Go find that ESPN.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Tomorrow is Friday. We're not going to be here.
I know.
We have Valentine's Day off.
Isn't that fun?
Looking forward to having Valentine's Day off?
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I am looking forward to it.
Shouts to Pugs and Darnell and everybody else who made this decision. I believe it's somewhat tied to, we did have to work a national holiday earlier in the year.
I believe that is correct.
And so now we can make up for it. So in all seriousness, I'm very appreciative. I gotta fly home today and then fly again tomorrow, and it just eases up my schedule a little bit. So Bennett, there ain't nothing I'd rather do on a Friday morning than talk to you. But you can call me if you got something to say.
Okay, I'll call you.
We'll leave the mic set up. Were you surprised last week when I called you? We rarely actually ring each other's phones.
Oh yeah, I was like, oh shit, something bad happened. That was my first reaction.
I was just calling you to try to make something good happen, but you thought something bad might happen.
Honestly, unless it's like my wife, anytime anyone calls me now, I'm like, oh shit. That's the first thing that goes through my mind anytime anyone calls me about anything.
I didn't mean to startle you. But if you want to talk tomorrow morning, if you got something you want to say to me at 10 o'clock, 10:15 or 10:30, whenever, just call me. I'll be around.
Sounds good.
Call me. We're not going to be here tomorrow. Nobody's going to be here tomorrow. We're going to enjoy All-Star Weekend, Valentine's Day, and then we'll be back in studio on Monday. Looking back at All-Star Weekend.
Yep.
Hopefully a good one. Enjoy the rest of your day and then your weekend. And I'm going to try to enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here Monday at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good.